corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys, Joe, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm Marcus Dash here at legendary Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn. JD, we're almost done with preseasons. You know what that means? That means we're only a few weeks till the games actually mean something.
Yeah. It's very close from, what we're saying. We are Patrick Mahomes days away from the very first game. Right, I've seen that out there on Twitter. Them saying it. I think it's always kind of cool when they do things like that. They showed old 89. It was always me and Otis Taylor's 89 out there when it was 89 days away. And I was like, oh, okay, it's pretty cool. So
it's Patrick Mahomes days away, or you want to say Todd Collins days away too. You can go that way as well.
Yeah, Todd Collins. Hey. What's going on, Marcus? How you feeling, man, today? How's everything going, man? What do you think about this whole thing, man? Preseason's almost over, right? We are coming down to the nitty-gritty. And we know there's going to be a tough time these next few days. We know that. So,
yeah, and right before the show, I saw that friend of the show, rookie guest that we had on this offseason, Jaron Hayek. He was waived. I know he was injured. He had the shoulder injury, but he was waived tonight. If he passes through waivers, he'll probably come back. I'm assuming. Maybe. I don't know. But we're going to 9-53. We might see a lot of the guys we've had on the show. Hopefully not. But we've already got one guy who's already waived. So I'm hoping Jaron, I hope he obviously can heal up with the shoulder injury. I don't know how severe it is. I messaged with him last week just to say, wishing him well. Hope he heals up soon. But, that's the name of the game. We're going from 90-53. A lot of guys are going to be cut, and that's the reality.
It is a reality, man. That's a tough thing to swallow. For guys, it's not easy for the organization and the team and the coaches to say, goodbye to guys. Obviously, we're going to bring guys back for the practice squad, and when you look at guys' eyes and you know that this has been a lifelong dream, trying to pursue it. Getting an opportunity, they're very grateful for one, but two, the disappointment in having to tell a guy like, look, man, we appreciate it, everything you've given to the Chiefs and during this time, but we got to part ways, and we're gonna just hope and thank you and wish you well on your next endeavor, whatever team you go to or whatever it is. Just you keep going, you just keep grinding. Whatever that means to guys. But it's always tough. It's always tough, man. Like I said before, man, we are filled with emotion and we're, human beings. And these things, man, it weighs on guys. And it weighs on the coaches too, man, because you get close to them. You do. The players get close to each other. And so it's always a tough time. Always a tough time. So.
And also, too, it's got to be something. And I know, you're a small school guy, so you definitely feel that. And, Jaron, who was a Villanova guy, he was invited. It was a rookie minicamp invite. He comes in, makes the team, makes the 90-man, and now he gets injured. And once you get injured and you're already on that cusp, you already kind of know, I need to get back out there. But sometimes injuries, I don't know how severe it was, but if you couldn't get back out there, and that was about over a week ago. Yeah, it's going to be tough to make the team. And as you say, you can't make the club when you're in the tub, especially when you are kind of playing at kind of a shorthand.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're an undrafted free agent, man, you need every opportunity to be out there on the field and just cuts down on your chances, right? I mean, and that is the reality of it, and it's tough, and it puts the team in a bind a little bit. I know with our guy, McCade, they was able to give him, I'm sure, some type of injury settlement. I'm sure they'll probably do it with Jarrett as well. With just saying, hey, look, we're just not going to just throw you out here without having something, but here's the appreciation. And giving you a chance to get better. And then if we revisit this later on, then so be it. But we love both those guys. Those guys were good guys. You seen the passion they had in them. And it was something that they wanted to do, lifelong dream. So I just encourage them, just like every other guy that comes on here or plays on the Chiefs and is released, just to keep going, just keep having the positive attitude, right? Just to try to go and out there and just crush it. And so, you just pursue it, man, as much as possible. I think it's a good time, man, to, just talk to everybody here in the chat. So we'll start, man, with Harama Biff. What's going on, Harama Biff? Welcome, my man, traveling guy, Lois Cutworth. Good to see you. I'm the Brown. Hello, my man. Gallo 83. Good to see you. Andrea. Hello. Let me see. Melly Matrix is here already. What's up, Melly? John Clifford is in the house. Zulu, hello, JD. What's up, Zulu? Nice to see you. Timmy G, 123. JD is awesome. Appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it. And Marcus too. He's giving a nod to you as well. And so, sweetie, how you doing? Oh, you telling everybody I'm about to get on. So she was like, "Get on here. I'm tell everybody what you're doing." So, it's kind of funny, but yeah, man. That's everybody that I see right here. Anonymous Mango. Good to see you as well. So I'm going to talk some good. Oh, Pono shows up. Good to see you, Pono. You kind of slide in and out. Like I said, Marcus, I don't see who's all on the chats. I just get like the comments coming in. So I quite.
Yeah, I can't see who's the only people I see are the people who comment. I mean, I know we have more than the amount of people we see on here, but some people like the chat, some people don't like the chat option, but we love all our people. I was telling earlier somebody on the chat, I was saying we call it the Chief Concerns tailgate. That's what it is. That's what the chat is before we get on.
I love it. This is a fire chat time. This is what it would be, right? Something like that.
Sir.
So,
yes, sir.
Good time. Lewis Kurt birthday there. Hi, Marcus and JD. Good to see you, Lewis. We had a good conversation last time. I know you got something for us tonight, man. Throwing in Boyd Lockhart. Let's go Chiefs. No doubt about it. Let's go Chiefs, man. So this thing tomorrow, I can't overemphasize the importance of this game for the guys that's trying to make a roster. And so it's not even just the Chiefs roster you're trying to make, the 53-man, or get on the practice squad. It's for every other team in the league besides your own. And so it's very important these guys go out there and have a good game. And if the Chiefs can't use you, maybe some other team can. And so if you've been somebody who's been out here and absolutely having a great camp, having a great preseason, the teams will do everything in their power to try to get you somewhere else. And so as it goes, and we'll talk about it here, what Spags was talking about, GMs and those guys are always working. Pro personnel are always going through trying to find guys. My guy, man, Tim, does a great job, man. Played with him in Kansas City, man. He's a really, really good dude. For the Chiefs talking about these things, getting guys where they need to get to. Neff, good to see you. Word. What's up, Neff? What's up? All love. You already know it. Love you. So we have some good times. We were talking. He actually said, "Hey, what's the Chiefs record right now?" I said, "We ain't ready about the record in preseason. Look, I said we watched how the Bears just slammed on Green Bay. I said the way it looks right now, Green Bay might be the third seed over in the division." I said, "I don't know." So I had to mess with him. So
I hope Chad's watching all the hype the Bears are getting right now on Hard Knocks. I hope he's watching. You better be scared. Caleb Williams better own that division in 2 weeks.
I tell you, man. Shoot, they look like at the bottom of the barrel, man. They might be a little bit better, just a tad better than the Minnesota Vikings. Other than that, Bears, Detroit, no. So
that's gonna be one of the fun divisions to watch this year. The NFC North, NFC West is always a fun division. But yeah, I would say NFC North is gonna be an interesting one to watch because for the first time in a while, like you have Yeah, I would. Vikings are in there, but the three top teams: Packers, Lions, Bears. All three of those teams, you make an argument for all three of them to win the division this year. So it's going to be very interesting to watch. So before, obviously, JD mentioned we're going to have a really good show tonight. We're going to cover some of the stuff that Spags was talking about, some of the stuff that Dave Tobe was talking about, and obviously we're going to get to it being the last preseason game. We're going to talk about the guys who've kind of shined this preseason so far, and then we're going to do a little preview for tomorrow night's game against the Bears. And I'm seeing a comment here. I believe it was Harama Biff. Is the Chiefs game Thursday televised or not? Yes. If you have NFL Network, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it will be on. I remember before the season started, I remember seeing that all three of the Chiefs preseason games are going to be nationally televised, which was amazing. But if you have NFL Network, that should do the trick. And if you don't have that, just go to Stream East, and if you just type in Stream East on Google, it will give you some streams there where you can watch any preseason game. So Stream East, you can do that. That's a good way of doing it. A little under the radar kind of way of doing it.
Okay. Nothing illegal is that, Marcus? It's nothing illegal, huh? Oh, uh-oh. Okay, I got you. You just giving out information. I hear you. So.
When I want to watch baseball games, sometimes it's a good way of doing it because I'm not buying baseball packages or whatnot. So, well, if you want a way to do it, Stream East is the way to do that, to watch it, to catch a game every so often.
I hear you, man.
But all right, so look, JD, you mentioned Spags, and we're going to talk about a room which, all offseason we've been talking about how great the depth in the cornerback room was, and how we weren't concerned at all about replacing L'Jarius Sneed between Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, and Najee Johnson. But with Watson and Najee missing time during this preseason, and then this week Joshua Williams missing time with a hamstring injury, we know those can linger. The Chiefs may be looking to add a veteran in the cornerback room. This is something we talked about a week or so ago. And this is Spags in talking about that. Quote, I think if you were to talk to Coach Andy Reid or Brett Veach, they'd tell you that they're always looking. They've got their eyes on them. Typically, Brett will come to me and say, well, you look at this guy, that guy. I'm sure that will happen in these next couple of days, end quote. So, JD, obviously we talked about bringing in a veteran DB a week or so ago, but that was before Joshua Williams' injury. And that was obviously, we thought Jalen Watson was going to be back. We thought Najee Johnson was going to be, ready to rock. So as we speak right now on August 21st, where are your thoughts on the Chiefs going to get another DB with yet another injury in this room?
You know what, man? I if it wasn't for the injuries, I don't think this would be an issue. I really don't. And so, like you said, we see, Najee the other day getting hurt, still dealing with a little bit of just these little nicks keep coming up. Obviously, I talked about the compensation that everybody has to do once you get hurt, right? The other parts start to kind of, start messing up a little bit. But this is kind of tough because you'll have to look for somebody that's a veteran guy that could come in and play right now, understands a good defense, knows who's been around the block somewhat. And we can't just bring guys out here who can't run, but bring somebody here who's a guy that can give you some good reps, a good man on man corner. That's what it's going to be about. And so I think we talked about it on the show after the first preseason game. And I was just like, well, I don't think we really need one. I knew we had money, but we didn't really need one. And then, of course, here comes the injuries. So, like I said, he said it, man. Veach is he's checking everything out. He's looking to see who's out here, who's willing to come and sign, who's willing to play for a Super Bowl. That's the thing. And so I don't know who that's going to be, a veteran guy. Do you rely on the young guys? Okay, you still have guys out here who can still play, but maybe they don't feel comfortable with those guys yet, right? They don't have the experience to go against when you talking about game one, the Ravens, game two, the Bengals. Like we're going, it's full board, the top of the NFL immediately after game one. We know that. And so you can't mess around with getting a guy in here who doesn't have that type of experience and kind of giving it to him. I like our picks that we had, but is he ready? Rookie guys. I don't know, man. So we'll see in the next few days. Obviously, the evaluation is going to be on those guys right now who plays, tomorrow to see how good they're going to do. right? We might just actually find something out about the guys that we do have, okay, that we didn't know what we had in the room. So hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, then, we got a little time to bring somebody in. So,
I mean, I think we do have guys in the room like Kelvin Joseph. I know he was one of the guys who was kind of rotating in at the cornerback too, but like,
yep.
I think it's the depth beyond that. It's the fact that, like, what if Watson's not ready to come back from his labrum injury? What if Nazee's not ready to come back within the first few weeks of the season with the knee and hamstring injury? And how long this Joshua Williams? I think that's the part. That's the worst part of it. It's the fact that all three guys are dealing with like some kind of nagging injury, and it's like how long is that going to last? And I mean, who knows? I mean, based on this trend, I mean, Kelvin Joseph, what happens if he goes down? Then we're relying on Kamal Haddon like right out the gate, and it's like. That's a rough spot to be in.
Well, look, I'm not saying that Haddon can't do it. That's what I was saying. You pick him up for a reason. He has all the tangibles that you want. He has the length that you desire. That's why you drafted him. So that's why I was talking about having a young guy like that come in, and you actually may find something. We did that with Joshua Williams on Gallup, and Jalen Watson. Okay, we threw him in a fire, and guess what? After a while, they was able to swim. Okay, it bode well for them, and so I think for us, this game, like I said, it's gonna give you a lot of information about what you have. It really is. The good thing is when the first game comes back, we're gonna get all our three top dogs back: Chris Jones, Bolton, and Reed. Okay, will that help run the scheme defensively? To cover a guy like that, to kind of give him a little back. Chamari Connors does a great job. So Spags has guys play for a different reason in different packages. So, yeah, we say Veach we trust. We need to bring a guy in, but I trust Spags. I trust Spags to know his guys. And so I know he's challenged these guys early. You watch him in practice on one-on-ones. It's just them understanding, from college to coming to the NFL, where you're supposed to be in relation to everybody else. That's very important. And it's going to help when you have your general, both your generals back on the very first game of the season with Bolton and Reed. So Reed's one of those guys, like he can put guys in the right position. It's like, look, we need to protect this guy being over the top. Then we'll do that. So we'll just have to see, Marcus. Good deal. Yeah, we'll just have to see.
That's also another thing that Spags kind of mentioned. You mentioned we haven't had we haven't had all the 11 guys in there together, the best 11 in there together this camp. So I mean, as far in any game so far, so like it's kind of tough to judge the defense as of right now. But I would say I wouldn't be mad. Like I see King Mo saying, would Xavier Howard be a fit? And I'm looking at, there's actually a lot of good names out there right now in free agency as far as cornerbacks. It's probably, of all the positions, it's probably one of the better ones. So I'm looking at Xavier Howard, Adoree Jackson, J.C. Jackson, Patrick Peterson, Eli Apple, Jalen Mills. It kind of falls off a little bit there. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad with any of those guys. We have, about 15 million to spend. 1 year, you kind of give it more of like an incentive laden deal. I mean, I don't know, but
hey man, look, we got to protect our pockets too. Okay, you can't have a guy coming here and Mandan, like you said, 15 million right off the bat. Like, it's what y'all got. I need all of that. Okay, or even 10, 11. Like we have to. There's got to be somewhat of a trust. Okay, in your guys, and I think Spags knows that. And you got to gauge how fast these guys are going to be able to get back. How bad is, like you said, the injuries. You said it before. How bad are they, right? Can Nazee get back? Okay. Can Justin get back? Can Jalen Watson, is he ready to come play? And so, and a lot of it goes into the locker room too. Are these guys going to be a good fit for what we do? You got to evaluate that too. So until that happens, until they pull the trigger on something like that, Marcus, hey, man, I want to see what we do tomorrow in the game, okay? Just kind of leave it at that.
So you think a lot of this, I guess the decision to bring in a new corner kind of goes to this game just to see how the guys who may have to step up, see how they do against other teams, maybe the second team or the third team receivers. You think that a lot of that's going to be dependent on tomorrow?
I think that is the practical thing to do. I do believe that. because you can give it that time. You have enough time to bring a guy in if you needed to. So we're talking about September the 5th is the first game. Is that right? So you have time. So let's say everything doesn't work out tomorrow, like you planned, and the guys don't look, they look like, chopped liver. Well, then all of a sudden you bring a veteran guy in, you got almost pretty much 2 weeks to work with him. So it's like, okay, we get a guy in, and I told you this. Every time you look, there's a body type that comes into the locker room, and you start looking around the corner like, uh-oh, who was that? Right? If he looks like you, body type wise, he runs fast. You're like, okay, they coming for me. But I don't feel like this is something that such a priority. Like, we just need to go ahead and just go get this guy, right? We may need another guy in a different position later on. So we said the same thing about defensive end. We said the same thing maybe about defensive tackle. Said the same thing about tackle possibly as well, right? Jawan Taylor, he had been nicked up and hurt. So there's some things there that you just can't, don't jump on it immediately. Shoot, give it some time. This game right here, like I said before, is going to give us a whole lot of information to determine what we want to do in the future with these next couple of weeks. So,
yeah, and I'm seeing Lewis Cuthbert here mentioning Gregory Jr. is one of the Chiefs had an interest in during the 2022 draft. The day we brought in that long snapper, we also brought in this cornerback, Gregory Jr., who was drafted by the Jags in the 6th round a couple of years ago. We brought him in on a visit 2 days ago. Obviously, no signing there, but still, it was a guy they brought in. None of the big names everyone's throwing out there, the Xavier Howards, the Adoree Jacksons. And I will say this. I do, although I would love the Xavier Howards of the world or, J.C. Jackson, I do think if they bring in someone, it's going to be somebody like a Gregory Jr. I think it's going to be like a name like that. Not going to break the bank. Probably come in. If he looks all right, we'll sign him for a couple weeks maybe. I don't know, but I think it won't be a big name like we all kind of like King Mo hopes for in the chat.
And you got to realize too, teams are getting rid of guys as well, right? So we're doing our due diligence to find out what other teams have that they might get rid of and say, okay, well this guy, he has been playing, he's been running around, been practicing. Let's get a guy who's fresh, who's in shape, ready to go. So, I think that's the practical thing to do is absolutely wait at this point. So,
100%.
Yeah.
Lewis's comment here: Chiefs have proven to take lesser known players and turn them into something. I'm 100%. Look at Rees-Zammit. He was an undrafted guy, came in. So that also speaks to what JD's talking about as far as if there is injuries, Kamal Haddon's there. He's next man up, see what he can do. And we've seen that come to fruition with guys like Rees-Zammit, late round guys like L'Jarius Sneed. These guys have stepped up, and we've seen that. So, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens either.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Although the sexy name, the Xavier Howards of the world, it is fun to flash around though, JD.
It is. I you know what? But you never know how a guy's going to work in your system. You don't know what the word is out there on him. You don't know if the Joker's been sitting on the couch eating Cheetos. You have no idea what this guy's been doing. Okay, so my thing is these guys are going to get it right. They know what to do. And like Casey Chief Chad said, Haddon, I like Haddon. I like him. Played, he balled out in college. When we looked at the body type, he had more of a body type like Sneed. Okay, that was one of the reasons. So when you get a guy like that to develop, then give him a shot. Let him come out there, man, and let him eat. Okay, let him sink and swim. You got to give him a chance. So I like now this guy having the opportunity to say, okay, well, look, now it might be me. Shoot, Trent McDuffie, when he came in, started. Okay, other guys when they came in, starting as a rookie. So this isn't something that's off the plate. I don't feel like that's something that we need to necessarily do. Okay.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I guess everything will be kind of reliant on what we see tomorrow, what kind of guys become available, like you said. And we're going to see a lot of purging going on around the league. So we'll see. Veach is going to be taking a look, and he's going to be showing Spags who's available and who he's interested in, and we'll see if that happens.
I like it's Witchy Hall. What's up, Witchy Hall? Good to see you in here. It said no one develops young players as well as Spags. That's the truth. That's the truth. Look, Marks, we talked about this, and we remember when the young guys came in. It was against the Bills game, and I think the second game of the season, they was getting torched, or at least there was just little thing, minor things as far as technique-wise that they just weren't doing well, right? But you could tell they was going to grow. Oh, get rid of them. Why is Spags letting these young guys play? Because these guys need to get prepared. They need to get ready. Because if something happens, at that time with Snead and McDuff, these guys need to play. We need to find if they can play. We need to find if they can play right now. So that's why you test them in the waters. You put them in a fire immediately to see what they can do. Because if something happens and, all of a sudden, at the time, Snead or your number one goes down, you're looking down the bench, and the bench is looking at you. You're like, oh, uh-oh. This joker right here don't want to go in. You want a sucker like this picking up his helmet right now. You need one, coach? You need one? That's the guy you want. You want that guy. You want the guy that you turn around, you look at it. He turn around looking to see who you looking at. He ain't the one. He's not the one, man. So we'll see.
So moving on to the other side of the ball, somewhat offense, but we're mainly kind of stick to special teams here. So going to the bottom of the wide receiver room and the return man depth chart, we're going to look at our guy Nikko Remigio.
Nikko.
And this week, special teams coach Dave Toub discussed the kick return situation, and he expanded on his thought process a bit on how that might go, and kind of alluded to something that JD's talked about a lot. But quote, "It could be Mecole Hardman. Nikko did a great job. I'll be pounding the table for that guy. I love him. Steele, he looks good back there. He gets it north and south. He'll be able to block. He's a guy you could use as a backup running back somewhere. Maybe Prince. You need bigger guys like that who can block too back there. You can't have two punt returners back there, I don't think." It's pretty clear that Nikko is his guy. I know, JD, you talked about pounding the table for guys, and the coaches are going to be doing that, and I love that he actually used that phrasing here. But, JD, how do you feel about the return situation, and how do you feel about Nikko? Do you feel as strongly as Dave Toub does, just based on what you've seen as far as the eye test?
So first off, I will address this. Yes, Dave is right. You can't have two returners back there. Okay, we've seen that when LRZ was trying to run and Remigio missed his block or missed his guy. It can't happen. Okay, so he's right about that. Dave is right about that. I think as far as like the returners, I think we're going to be fine in that regard. I think we have enough guys that can do it, that we employ that can get the ability. He said Carson Steele. If it comes down to it, the worst possible scenario, Carson Steele can catch a football, run north to south, okay? We just need 10, 15 yards to get up the field, maybe get at the 35 or the 40 if we can, and then we can just deal with it like that. Because Carson Steele ain't going to outrun nobody. I mean, if he runs one back, I'd be shocked, okay? And we'll probably see people get fired, from other teams. But that's not taken away from his ability, because he could get his yards. And I love a guy that's north and south that is physical. So, yay to Carson Steele. Now I'm going to Remigio. Remigio has a lot of ability. What I hear from Dave is he likes his personality. There are certain people and their character that is infectious with how they look at the game, how they approach it every single day, the energy, the light that they bring. I think Toub sees that in him. And so you can really get tight with a guy, okay, because of what he brings to the table. And so it could be in a meeting room who's like, yeah, coach, I'll go ahead and take this rep. And sometimes the special teams, some guys don't want to play special teams. I'm just going to be honest with you. They don't. And it could be like, they might feel like, hey, coach, I've done enough. I'm a starter. Why am I playing special teams? Because we need you in here. That's why we need you in here. And so Nikko Remigio is like, hey, coach, I'll do it. I need a personal protector. Hey, coach, I do it. Hey, man, get out of here. You're only 185 pounds. Yeah, but I'll do it, coach. So Remigio seems like a guy that doesn't balk at anything. But we know he has ability. He's quick. He's fast. He's elusive. He could go hit his head on the goalpost. every time he get the ball in his hand. We know this. So I think that's why he said, man, I'm going to pound the table. I'm going to stand on the table to keep him in here. Now, does that mean he's going to outplay somebody at wide receiver? That still remains to be seen. And this kind of goes in the scenario we were talking about LRZ. Who do you take off here to put LRZ on if he's going to be a special teams guy, right? This is the reason why it's important when guys do play special teams that you have to have some value in the offensive side of the ball. Okay, Remigio has that for us. He can play. He can be, the wide receiver screen. He can play slot. He'll run reverses, runs good routes, got good hands. So he has a lot of value there, not just playing special teams. LRZ, on the other hand, because he's still trying to get better as a running back, may have some issues as far as like, well, where do you put him at? Is he a running back 4? Do you put him before Steele? Is he going to take Daenerys Prince position? We know CEH is still dealing with this, still praying for him that everything is better with him, man. Sad to see this. Sad to see it. So I hope he's still getting the help that he is. And it's good that I hear that they've been doing that. But yeah, I think Remigio, because of his ability, Dave likes it. As a special team coach, I completely understand it. And when you have a guy that could go to hit his head on the goalpost, he's an easy guy that you could cheer for. But I think Tobe said this. First name he mentioned was who? Cole Harmon. He's like, I got that ace in my back pocket. I already got that. We know we have him. Will Remigio do something to wow us on the offensive side? We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, that's been the one thing that I've been kind of shocked by. I thought he was going to be more polished as a receiver, and that's kind of thing that one thing that, like, yeah, we know how he could be as a return man. He proved it in college. I thought, because last year he looked great running routes last year. I thought he was going to make the team over Richie James. And then he got hurt. He had the shoulder injury. But I'd be kind of, it seems like I was expecting more from him offensively this year, and I haven't seen it so far during preseason. Obviously, we got one more game left in preseason. And also too, like, it's tough, man, to like really show yourself in preseason games, especially when you are getting like a quarter of game time. It's tough. So what is that? Two possessions on offense in a quarter, maybe 2 to 3?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if the O-line's not playing well and your quarterback's, not playing well, it's a 3 and out. There's no showcasing anything. So it's tough. It's a tough thing to showcase as far as offensively. But he looks great returning the ball, and that's what we're talking about right now. Is that, and you brought up LRZ. It seems like that's going to be more process, and they know that. We've been saying it was going to be a process, and today Matt Nagy also said he's developing every day for the positive. More than anything, I think there needs to be a little patience with him. So a little foreshadowing to what's going to come in the next few days, I would say. Maybe practice squad for him based on what Nagy's saying, which is what we have kind of said all along. We were excited about the LRZ train, but it looks like we might have to, just take a little pause, before we get to the real destination. We're going to, see what's going on with the train before we get to the next destination.
Let me address this real quick with LRZ, okay? Because I've been watching our comments on, because we have our friends on across the pond to get on, talk about LRZ. And there's some that have a realistic expectation saying, hey, look, him getting on the 53-man roster may be tough, okay? When we had our conversation, we was talking about it on Monday. And they realize that. But then there's some just like, hey, man, he can do this, he can do all those different things. And I'm just like, he's not polished yet. Look, don't take, and I don't think, and here goes into the teaching moment. We can't think that the practice squad is a demotion or something that is bad. For a guy that's trying to develop, who's trying to learn this game, who's trying to work on his craft, a particular position, the practice squad is probably the best case scenario for a guy like LRZ, okay? It's not saying that the Chiefs decide to do it like that, right? I don't think they get rid of LRZ. Like somebody on here says, he'll sell jerseys. Yeah, he'll sell jerseys. He'll sell jerseys even on the practice squad. The practice squad is somewhere where he can develop. get better, and then they can move him off the practice squad onto the 53-man roster. But the notion that he's too good to be on the practice squad, I think, man, is a wrong thought process. I really do. He's learning. This is the perfect place for him to be. And here's another thing, because people think, and I want to make this clear as well. If he's on the 53, if he's on the practice squad, we can move him up. But also, too, if teams try to vie for him and try to sign him off the practice squad, LRZ doesn't have to go. He does not have to sign with another team. He can say, hey, look, I am comfortable where I'm at. I have signed a 3-year deal with the Chiefs, okay? They have thrown me some money, okay? This right here compensates me for what I've been doing right now. And if I get to a place where I could be utilized the entire year, I want to stay with a championship team. Why would you want to do that? If we've learned the essence of what a championship team is, the Kansas City Chiefs are the epitome of what championships are. We are the pinnacle. We are. There's no reason if the Carolina Panthers want to sign him or the Rams or something. No, there's no need to go out there. Or the Jets, why? Why go and try to find another team to try to get them to develop as opposed to staying here with the world champs? Everybody in the world is going to see who the Chiefs are. Everybody's coming here because we are the champs. Everybody looking for the 3-peat. Everybody's coming here because Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback probably in existence that we've seen so far. It's because Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the NFL. It's because we have such a dominant defense. It's because we have one of the greatest coaches of all time. And it's because also, too, Taylor Swift has come on over to the right side, okay? And everybody follows her. We got Swifties and everybody here. Why go somewhere else? Why? Why go to a bottom feeder of a team that you don't really need to go? Be patient. Go to a team. Stay on the team that you need to stay on, that you've been building rapport with this entire time, okay? I just want people to understand this, okay? And I don't think people, I want y'all to please stop thinking that the practice squad is such a negative thing, because it's not. You are still on an NFL team. Hello? Do they not know this? You are going against the number ones. Hello? Every single day. So you get the guys ready on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That's how it works when you're on practice squad. And you're still learning all of this. You're still learning all of this, man. So I want people to understand how it works for the practice squad. I really do.
And I'll say this, I'll give our friends across the pond a little bit of grace here on this. I don't think they really understand how this whole thing goes. I just think they maybe think practice squad is like a demotion kind of deal. Only 16 players make a practice squad. So 16 at 32 teams. So, I mean, it's elite company still, because you're still in the NFL. And there's guys out there who would do a lot to be on a team's practice squad. So, it's a big deal to be one of the 16 guys who make the practice squad. So that's, especially for a guy who's never played football before, that's a huge deal.
That's a huge deal. That's a huge deal. So what is the most practical thing to do? You want this guy who's still developing to get confidence in what he's doing, okay? He's still learning your offense. He's having a fun time doing it. We know he can be utilized on special teams. And the thing is, you're creating even more value for him to be on like your full 53-man roster, okay? So you're looking for the future. This is what this is. You develop guys right now, so the future for him to be here. We're looking for LRZ to start your career here, end your career here, okay? Somebody was saying Tyson Hill. Oh, he could be utilized Tyson Hill. Tyson Hill been playing football for a long time, okay? He has football IQ. Please don't start using names to compare LRZ to, because he'll let you know I'm just not there. What Nagy is saying is he's developing the right way. He is. He's ascending higher because he has been taking everything in. That's a beautiful thing. Let's stay on that trajectory, Marcus. That's how I'm sitting there saying that. So if it takes a little bit more time, then so be it. If it takes 2 or 3 more weeks, he comes in week 4. It's a win-win situation for him. He's ahead of the curve. He really is. He's a very talented guy. He has a absolute skill set. He's fast. He's big. He can do it all. He has good hands. So let's nurture that. Let's nurture it.
G-Pig, do practice squad guys make a base salary is his question here. And yes, they do. 2024 NFL practice squad players will earn a weekly salary of $12,500. This is an increase from $12,000 in 2023. So that would be about, what, like 200, like 216, 200, like $18,000 for the season. For the 18
season, man. Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. Damn good.
Real good, yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah. But the thing is, they'll get money for playoffs. Okay. So it's another money in their pocket. So when you go to playoffs, that's just more money coming to you each and every week. And that's in the collective bargaining agreement. The thing is, if he moves up, then the salary goes up. So what did he sign? I don't even know what he signed for the 3-year. What did he get? Maybe he could talk.
I thought it was a pretty good. That was a pretty good contract.
Rick Henderson. Go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
I said Rick Henderson said, I want to be on the practice squad. Yeah.
Me too. So LRZ signed a 3-year, $2.8 million contract with the Chiefs, including $20,000 signing bonus, $250,000 guarantee, and an average annual salary of $950,000. So he's already made some guarantees money. So
yeah, come on, man. Like I don't think the worst thing you possibly do. Okay, let's just say and I said this. If you compromise what it is that you're trying to do for one particular player, I think it's the wrong way to go. Okay, the Chiefs got a formula how they do things, and I don't think they're gonna get away from that. I don't. I think you got to stay on track with it. Okay, and I said this before. It's not about selling jerseys. I'm sorry, it isn't. If this is the Carolina Panthers, it is about selling jerseys, right? It's about selling jerseys. Trying to get as much looks as you possibly can. Okay. If you're, I don't know who another team out there who's kind of trashy, who would it be? Arizona Cardinals. I don't know who else you want to use. You want to sell jerseys. That's what you're trying to do. So Jets trying to sell jerseys. Denver Broncos trying to sell jerseys. Las Vegas Raiders. I got to use good numbers. You try to sell jerseys.
Mark Davis wants that money. He wants that liquid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, and also too, tomorrow night's gonna be huge for LRZ. Tomorrow night's gonna be a big night for him, and another guy who really needs to show out tomorrow night to whether it is make the team, which I don't think so, but definitely to secure a practice squad spot, which I think that's gonna be the biggie for him.
Yeah. And we got to find out what all it can do, offensively. And it hasn't been fair for him. We were talking about this earlier, like with Remigio. When you have your fourth string quarterback in and the line's not blocking like they should, you can't get a solid look and a measure of a guy when that happens. Bring him in. We use Carson Steele. First drive, throw him in, or the second one, right? Give him a couple things. Let's see what he can do. Okay? I guess they pretty boy ain't playing tomorrow, from what I understand, right? Caleb Williams is not playing?
Oh, yeah. I think most of the starters for both teams are playing tomorrow based on whatever.
So this is about making the team.
Pretty boy.
Yeah, he's there he is. He's the pretty boy. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, when you paint your nail polish, I think you can. When you paint your nails, I think you call you pretty boy, right?
Yeah, you call him a pretty boy. Look, LSA's a pretty boy, right? Shoot, and that's just.
But yeah. And plus quarterbacks, just generally, quarterbacks are pretty boys.
Quarterbacks are pretty boys.
Yeah.
Wide receivers are pretty boys. DBs feel like they're pretty boys. They prima donnas. That's how it is. And say, they come in the locker room. That's how they look. You can't tell them. Boy, you can't breathe out them jokers. Them jokers is like, hey, just. So that's funny.
So you think that just to wrap up the Nikko conversation bit, you think Nikko, based on what you hear from Tube, you think that there's a chance he makes the team, And then if that's the case, I know we talked about we've done the wide receiver thing multiple times as far as who's your 6 or 7 guys. Hearing this, who are your 7 guys in the wide receiver room? Who are your 7?
Everybody has a chance right now. That's what it looks like. Your guys, everybody has that chance. But I said my 7. I think I gave my 7 the other day, but I'll give them to you again. Here's my 7 right now. Is you have Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy. You have McCole Hardman, Justin Watson, Justin Ross, and Sky Moore. That's my 7. Okay. Now, how everything else works with this still remains to be seen, because it is the value that you create when you're on special teams. Justin Ross has to create some value for him to be on this squad. You can't be 5th, 6th, or 7th receiver without having something on special teams. That's the reality. I'm sorry. So we'll just have to see. I seen him playing wing. You could probably put him at gunner. So he's going to have to do some things. That's how it works, Marcus. That's how it works. If guys are right there on the cusp, you're a fringe guy. You have to have the special teams your part of your bag. Has to be. I'm sorry. That's what it is. So.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, he shows a little bit more effort blocking towards the way that game kind of went down towards the end of the. Is blocking it a little bit better. Seems a little bit more attentive to it after he missed the first few blocks in the game. So hopefully he has that kind of tenacity and intensity going into this game tomorrow night, because it's big for him. Big for him.
Yes.
All right, so now we're going to go to the standout performer. So obviously tomorrow night's the last game of preseason, and JD, we'll get to the guys who need to show out tomorrow night. But so far after the first 2 games, JD, who are some of the guys, or who is the guy that has stood out in your eyes? Obviously, the big name guys. Worthy had a big game last game, but I'm curious, like, who are some maybe like the unsung guys a lot of people maybe not talking about enough? That you think have really showed out in the first 2 preseason games?
Oh man, I have 2. Obviously, Carson Steele has done a great job, but 2 guys that come to my mind, I think, are already in midseason form. One of them in our offense is Rashee Rice. Okay, he's ready. And on defense, I think it's George Kalafdis. Both those guys, man, are in midseason form. When George is out there, you see him making a difference. Without Chris Jones in there too, and he's getting pressure, he's killing tackles. He's just playing ball right now. So those are the 2 guys that stand out to me. When I'm sitting there looking at them, I'm like, oh, wow. Like, yeah, these guys, they are ready to play. Now, the young guys, obviously Carson Steele has been doing a good job with the opportunities that he's been showing. King Suma been doing a good job at left tackle. It was kind of funny when they said PFF, they showed his grade at 82 point something, only 2. I'm like, that's what he's supposed to do. He only played in the quarter, not even the whole quarter. What do you want me to do? Shoot, if it's less than something like that, then we would be worried. We should be. So let's okay. I'm like, wow. Okay. Defensively, I think Hicks has done a decent job. I think he's gotten better. Somebody said it in here. Hicks can tackle. Yeah, he can tackle. There was time the first game. I know it was kind of a little touchy. He missed a couple of tackles. I don't think people seen that. You can see all the things you do right, but sometimes you got to evaluate the things that people are doing wrong. But I think he has good awareness of where he should be. And he's done a good job of that. So he's been a very bright spot for us as far as a rookie. Let me see who else. That's pretty much it. I mean, other than that, I think everybody else is kind of solid across the board, man. What we need to be seeing. So
I appreciate that, G-Pig. I think with some of what I saw from Ian Book last week, I think I could have done a better job than There was some atrocious play I saw from Ian Book last week. That was rough. And it's not all his fault, but
Ain't all his fault, man. Ain't all his fault.
But I respect that. I appreciate the compliments, guys. You guys are the best.
Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle.
Yeah, it was rough, man. I would say no. I agree with all that. I think Rice looked even better than he looked phenomenal compared to last year. And we saw all the offseason work that he put in. We saw the videos every week from his wide receiver coach on Twitter. So we kind of figured this was going to happen. And plus, with the off the field stuff that happened, I think he's kind of like devoted to the game now, and it seemed like he looks great. I think we were maybe looking at a 100 catch season from him. So Rice, but as far as the younger guys, I went with the thumbnail graphic here. I made sure to put Curtis Jacobs in here, the linebacker who his grade from the Detroit Lions game was the highest. And I know we kind of laugh at PFF stuff, but it was the highest linebacker PFF grade in all preseason out of the whole NFL.
Okay.
And he was a guy who was probably one of the higher rated linebackers in this last draft class. But he ended up slipping for whatever reason. He slipped till the became a UDFA, and then we got him. And I still I don't know why he fell in the UDFA, but we were lucky enough to get him. And I'll say this: yes, we have a good linebacker room, and we did lose Willie Gay, and this is something that I think he could be a guy who could replace that kind of role that we have. And we've seen obviously it's a lot of vanilla coverage, and JD and I talked about this a little bit, but we saw a lot of the linebackers being able to cover has been kind of an issue so far in this preseason. So like having an athletic linebacker like a Curtis Jacobs could be something that, you know, as a rotational guy, I'm not saying he's being every down backer, but someone who could come out there and give us some athleticism at the linebacker spot. I think we might have a gem here with Curtis Jacobs. Because, I mean, based on what we've seen with everything, with not being able to cover angle routes, Tranquil not being able to do it, Chanel not being able to do it, I'm not worried about it. I'm saying having an athletic linebacker who can come in and do that, I'm very happy that we got Curtis Jacobs. And I think that's a guy who, you know, I think he was the first one down every day during training camp, which also tells you something about his character. And I think this might be a guy for us. So Curtis Jacobs is probably my guy who stood out to me.
Man, look, you've been talking about this guy since day one. You have.
He's a DMV guy, JD, so I kind of have the bias.
I hear you, brother. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with it, man, but you chose a good one. You chose a good one. And he's a solid performer. He's one of those, like a quiet storm, you know, shows up. He's just always around the ball. And I tell you what, right now we got him, you know, backing up Tranquil. So he's going to be a special teams guy. I've seen him get down on special teams too. So he could be one of those guys that is shocking for us when he come in. Is he ready? Sure. Why not? We've seen that. Like you said, having that attitude of coming down, first one on practice, you know he wants it. He's focused up. He's absolutely ready. Okay. He's not wavering from anything. He is ready. Okay. Kind of going back to, you know, Rashee Rice. And hopefully Rashee Rice he's focused on what he needs to do. Hopefully he's reading his Bible, thanking God every single day that the situation it wasn't worse than what it was. But he looks like he's focused up. And so my thing is, when you have guys like that, they're easy to rely on. We know this. And so, shoot, man, I like linebackers, man, that can flow, that are fast, and that can cover. You was talking about the angle route. And that's something I'm sure they had to work on. I'm sure they're working on those things in practice. If they haven't, they need to. Because it's being, man, I'm talking about my lasses. When them suckers run that little, boop, come back inside, the hips are leaning, oh, shoot. Oh, I gotta get back out. So, at a guy, get your hips right and get your feet together.
Yeah, and that was something that every team, both teams so far we've played, they've just been doing that like all game. It seems like when in doubt, just throw it to your running back out of the backfield on a little angle. It's been really interesting how that's been the area they've been attacking.
And but to be honest with you, I think every team, I don't care who it is, anytime you have a running back coming out the backfield, one-on-one with a linebacker, I give him a shot. I think that's always a good matchup. Linebackers, a tight end, you know, and a running back on a linebacker, all day. I would exploit that every single chance that I got. I will make sure to manufacture that we will make sure that a running back is going against a linebacker at some point in the game at least 10 times to 15, at least in the passing game. That's just me. So
I'll take your word for it, JD. I trust you when it comes to that stuff. All right, so we're going to go to our final topic here. So tomorrow night, Chiefs will be at Arrowhead again, hosting the Chicago Bears, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time on NFL Network. You can watch the game more if you guys listen to the beginning of the show. I gave you a nice spot to go watch that game. So it also will be on after the game on Bleacher Report. Tasia, myself, and JD will be on Bleacher Report after the game, so around 11 o'clock-ish, to kind of put a bow, wrap a bow on this preseason for the Kansas City Chiefs and make way to the regular season where the good stuff actually begins. But JD, we kind of referenced the guys who've stood out so far going into this final game. Who are the two guys that you are really looking to make a difference in this game to kind of put a stamp on their ticket to the 53-man roster?
Two guys, and it hasn't changed for me. It has not changed since the very preseason game. I said these two guys, either gonna make it or you'll break it. I need to see, not make it and break it, but I need to see something out of you all even more. Offensively, Daenerys Prince. You're gonna have the lion's share probably of carries tomorrow. Okay, starting out, probably the first half. You and Carson Steele. It's going to be between y'all two. That's right there. When you see that, that's a competition everybody needs to watch tomorrow. I'm telling you. Okay, that's one. The other one is King Felix. He may get that and develop somewhere within, but tomorrow I need to see him let it fly. Just let it go. Just let it go, man. Don't worry about making a mistake. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about any. Just go out there, man, and just ball out. Okay? Just ball out. That's what we just need to go ahead and get those. Just pull the reins off. Just pull it off, man. I don't know what you think about nothing else. You go out here and you just ball. You do your best. I'm talking about you go out here, you beat this tackle up, guard, whoever it is in front of you. You make sure you win each and every battle that you have. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. And so, he said he gets tired. Hey, man, that's why he's playing, though. We got to get him tired. We got to see what he's got to be able to do. So those two guys, okay. Next guys will have to be from King Suma. Want to see him even more, okay? And then also too, the corner who's going to be playing, whoever's going to be starting. We're going to see that. So,
yeah, I love all your names you brought up here. I'm going to go a little more on the radar, guys, more as depth guy. Someone who kind of popped off the screen at me, and I actually wanted to ask you about it because I don't think you and I have talked about him. Because I know with that Omena who we're going to kind of look for another guy to be a rotational edge rusher, JD. And guy who stood out to me last week was Truman Jones, the edge rusher from Harvard, I believe. I did some research on him, number 57. Mm-hmm. He stood out to me last week as somewhat of a guy who, apparently he looked good during training camp. Rotational guy. I think he was signed by us last year, 2023, as a UDFA practice squad guy, and now he's making some noise in the game. But between him and Owen Carney are two defensive ends who kind of popped off the screen a little bit towards late in that game. And I know some people make the argument, he was going against four-string guys, but. Yeah. I mean, we're going to need someone to step up here, some other guys to step up as rotational edge rushers, especially without the Omenihu situation. So that situation I'm going with, obviously FAU, I want him to look better than he has, but those two as far as rotational guys on the back end. And then Justin Ross, I want him to finally, cement, put a slam dunk on that case to, kind of like we did last year's Browns game where he caught the fade route. Yeah. Give us something like that to let the whole world know, like, look, I'm making this team and I'm actually going to get reps during the season on the starting offense. I want to see that. I want to see that case be made. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Justin Ross, like I said before, he's got to be tight with everything that he does, catching the football, but also too on special teams. He got to show that he can go down and play. like I said, if he's going to make the team, this is going to be it. Special teams got to be, the catalyst for him to make the roster fully. I think that's what it is, Marcus. Okay. And I love his ability. We could keep talking about his ability all day, but it's still the point of like this guy right here has to play special teams. Okay. We can't compromise anything else because of that. Truman. Okay. I haven't really seen too much. Like you said, who you're going against is kind of like, it's okay, fine. Then let him put him in early, see what he can do. Okay. I don't think our defensive line has been as crisp as I thought they would be. Okay. And I need to see more from that. Somebody said Dickerson on here. I need to see more from Dickerson. He's had some flashes, but it still hadn't been enough. Right? Just it hasn't. But this is kind of like this is what we need to see. We need to see this, right? But we know Chris is not in there. But I said you got to have a dog beside Chris. You have to. That tells the tale. Tells the tale. So.
And no one has stood out on that other spot. The spot that you and I were begging the last two drafts to draft another defensive tackle in the early rounds of the draft, it still hasn't manifested yet. The guys we've signed have not really taken that mantle yet. And God forbid anything happens to Chris Jones. God forbid.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
So we got some questions here. I was going to get to. Okay. Susan has a really good question. Obviously, Susan, for those who don't know Susan, this is JD's wife, his lovely wife. Mm-hmm. And she has a question. So, JD, does Andy tell players they're not coming back, or does he have other coaches do it?
Yeah. So it all falls on Andy's shoulders. And usually he's the one that has the out interview, if you will, telling guys like, hey man, I appreciate it. But it falls on him. He's the big dog. He's the one that makes the call ultimately at the end. No other coaches can do it. It would have to be Andy. So if you're being administered any type of bad news, let's just say you're at a doctor's office, you fall on the doctor to do it. You don't want to give it to anybody else. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. That's respect. That's, having decency with a guy, just to look him in his eye and let him know maybe where he faltered or, where you just can't use him. And, hey, this is what we have to do. We got to move on. It was good knowing you and seeing you. And Andy and the coaches, the position coaches will give you notes of like what you could have done better. What could you improve on? If teams have been asking about you, they'll give you other information as far as in that regard. But Andy, he's the one that has to be the one to kind of give you the bad news. Now I know sometimes, we see on Hard Knocks, it could be the player personnel guy. So it just depends. But I think Andy's, the one that sometimes handles certain guys for sure. So.
Did Dick Vermeil do it?
Dick did. He talked to some guys. I think ultimately, you would have, it depends, because they're practicing different times, because sometimes they let guys go at different times. They might let guys go right before practice and whatnot. So he may not have to do it because other guys have to do it at that time, right? It's the, player personnel, like I said, Tim Terry, guy I played with. You want to hear from a guy who's played in the game, who could tell you everything that you needed to do, maybe talk about maybe getting somewhere else. But I think that's really ultimately on the head coach. If he is available to do it, sure. If they bring guys in early and, coach, he'll slot his time to make sure it takes care of those things. But then, of course, practice still got to roll. The machine can't stop. And a lot of guys, man, it's going to be hurt. It's going to be hurt. So,
G-Pick makes a joke about Coach Vermeil being a very emotional guy. So yes, but he cried when he told them.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure some guys he did. Some guys he didn't. Some guys, just tell them the truth. Hey, if you do a little bit better over this, yeah, you'll get there. You'll get there. And so, coaches, Coach Remigio, man, was always good at that. He's been doing it for a long time. So Andy's been doing it for a long time. But some guys, I think they regulate to, like I said, the player personnel.
Is it like and I know I always try to like make the comparisons to like our everyday jobs. Like, for example, if I lose my job at one company, I can have as a reference, I can put like my former boss as my reference to the next place. Is there a way like Andy, because coaches all know each other, right? Some of them are on the same coaching tree. Like, for example, I get cut, but we know Jacksonville's team's much worse than the Kansas City Chiefs team. Is there a way could Andy give Doug a call and say, hey, got this guy, we couldn't keep him around? Do coaches do that as well?
Absolutely, all the time. And they're talking now, back and forth. The guys they may keep and they not keep. They'll find out who they got. And so when you're familiar with a coach, then that's how it happens. So it's rapport. Andy knows, they know each other. Sure, these guys are all friends pretty much. Sometimes, and I heard Mike Tomlin was saying he was asked about Russell Wilson. He said, I didn't have to confer with Sean Payton. It's just not how we do things up here. But I'm sure player personnel is doing it. He may call. You want to find out what a guy is. Mike might not do it, or coaches. But you best believe they got every word that's possibly out there about a guy. They're going to get it. There's nothing that's hidden or they don't know. It's like, oh, we didn't know that. We didn't know this guy didn't run a 4.4. They're going to know. They're going to know everything about it. They're going to know your proclivities. They're going to know what you like. All of that. So
yeah. So we got appreciate the contribution. About time. Really appreciate that.
I appreciate it.
JD, can I get prayers for my wife? She was given 10 years max. Need her a lot longer than that. She's my world. Sorry to hear that. About time.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely get prayers for your wife, man. Sure, I'll do one real quick. Dear Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you right now for your grace and your mercy. We just want to pray for About Time, his family and his wife, that everything comes through you. We know that without you, dear Father, we would all be lost. But we just ask that you just cover About Time and his family at this moment. And everybody who's out here on the screen, dear Lord, we just want to thank you right now for all the things you give. You are ultimately the doctor in all these things. Like I said, nothing happens without you giving the okay, dear Father. We just pray right now in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
So, quick prayer for you About Time, man. Keep praying for you and your family, for everybody out here too. I don't mind doing that. But we'll know ultimately, man. Only God knows. Only God knows. So we trust in that. So
Sending love to you, buddy.
absolutely. Absolutely.
We got a few more questions here before we head out. Again, we got a late night tomorrow night, guys. So you guys will have us on again tomorrow. So we got a question here. Vegas Chiefs Kingdom. When is Omenihu expected to return? I mean, probably midway through the season, week 6, week 7, week 8, probably somewhere between that period. I mean, looking at his videos of his rehab and looking like he looks like $1 million right now. So like week 6, week 7, somewhere around there, yeah. I mean, he looks like he's progressing nicely just based on his videos.
Dude, he's a machine. He is an absolute machine. He's been wanting to get back. He's ready to get back. And so Omenihu, you can just see it in his eyes when he comes down to practice, man. That dog could probably get out there right now and be better than a whole lot of other guys. So he's ahead of the curve. He's ahead of the curve. That right there itself is so positive. I don't know, like the projections. They said probably somewhere like week 6, but man, you might see him week 3. We don't know. And look, they gonna keep it under wraps. They ain't gonna let you know. They're working with him. Off the book somewhere. that everybody don't know. They're gonna push him, and he'll let you know how what his knee feels like. So a Menahu, man, getting back is going to change what we do significantly. DeMonte Green Beans, look at DeMonte. DeMonte, what's up, brother? Week 4 is what he's saying.
Okay.
Randy County saying San Fran game week 7. It's all over the place, man. It's going to be on him, man. They're going to try it. Believe me, they're going to try it.
I think if we're like doing pretty good, like undefeated or like 1 loss, and we're like week 6, there's no reason to rush him back. I would say make sure he's 100%, so he can just full go when he comes back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Final question from Susie S. How many players will be on the practice squad? 16 players make the NFL practice squad. And like JD said earlier, they can bring you up, they can put you back down, they can waive you, but they can do a whole lot of things with you. But 16 players make a team's practice squad.
Yeah.
And they make good money too.
Make good money. Make good money. So it's developmental part and phase for guys to get prepared to play on Sunday. Or Monday to Thursday, I would say Sunday, obviously, because it's, the main day that guys play. But you're developing and you're getting ready. And the good thing about it is you're going against the number ones. And you got to show the offense or the defense of the opposing team not to be a slouch. You got to get these guys ready. But in the same sense, you're developing your skill set. And so if I'm a guard, I want to go against Chris Jones. I want to go against Kalafkis if I'm a tackle. I want to go against a linebacker if it's Nick Bolton or Drew Tranquil, because those guys are starters, and those guys want you to get ready. If you're over here, dogging it, okay, you're not helping those guys out. Those guys don't want slouches over on the other side. I want a guy to get me prepared. When they was talking about Oladunku, right? Oladunku, how you play his name? I know Marcus was talking about his.
I'm the backup quarterback.
Yeah, Aladunku.
Third string.
Talking about him getting those guys, the defense prepared when Lamar Jackson week came up was significant. And he gave him a good look. And that's how it works, man. That's how it works. So, yeah, you are on the team. Practice squad or not, you are on the team. You see this? This is your logo. You see that back there? You're going to wear one of them jerseys. That's what you're going to be able to do one day. That is it. Okay, I'm trying to do this back behind me. But, so if y'all didn't notice, that's your boy right here. Okay, I signed it too. I love it. Good picture.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, practice squad, very important to the team's success throughout the season, for sure.
You're a wide receiver, go against Trent McDuffie, one of the best corners in the league. Come on, man. Your defense, you're going against Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and all those guys. They don't want no slouches. No good for that.
Yeah.
Stewart said you are still an elite athlete if you're on the practice squad. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. So,
100%.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, that does it for us on another Chief Concerns episode. We will see you guys tomorrow night on Bleacher Report. If you guys can't make Bleacher Report, it'll be on our YouTube channel shortly thereafter. But yes, around 11 o'clock when the week 3, when the final preseason game is over, we'll be on here to wrap a bow on this 2024 preseason with your Chief Concerns crew.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I appreciate it, man, for everybody that came out here for the chat tonight. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that, everybody we see in this community just able to pray for About Time, his wife and your family. Everything's going to work out, my brother. It will. But this is what we love y'all. We do. Okay. Just being able to come in and talk and have a conversation. This is the family time. This is what we call it. Chief Concerns family. And that's what we do with each other, man. We hold each other back, but we also, we want to shoulder each other's burdens, and we love you. So regardless of where you are, anything like that, we love you. Understand, Chief Concerns crew, we love you. We got your back. And you see out here, everybody's got your back too. So y'all have a good night. Tomorrow's going to be a great game. Check all of it out. We're going to have some good stuff after the game over, Marcus. I'm sure we start writing this thing down, and I might go ahead and show this 53-man roster that I thought after the game. I might just go ahead and show it, man. This is a little peek.
I think we deserve to say we were hearing hints about it all offseason, JD. I think after this preseason game, you should know who's on your 53-man roster. So I think we deserve to get the full thing.
Absolutely. Okay, you got it. You got it. That'll be my first glimpse into it. Okay, that's what we'll do. All right, Marcus. Listen, my brother, love you. Love y'all out there. Susie S., Charles Driver, An Chanel, G. Pick, Richie Hall, Lakey Snake, Harama Biff, Don Peterson, my brother, Max KC1 just got here. Oh, man. You be able to catch us up later. Good one tonight. DeMonte Green Beans, Charles Driver, The Barbershop, good Stu, good to see you. Neff, Sweetie, Mrs. Dunn, Timmy G 123, Rick Henderson, good to see you. G Pick, Nancy, Randy Conley. I'm trying to get to everybody. If I get to say you, Vegas Chief Kingdom, Anshanaut, Jubal Ray. Thank each and every one of you all. Love you. Y'all take care. God bless y'all. All right, we'll see you. Richie Hall, we'll see you too. All right, about time. Prayers to you. All right,
love you, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. And G-Pick again, it'll be Bleacher Report, and then we'll have it on our YouTube channel shortly after we're done airing that. So
absolutely.
We got all bases covered. So love you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.